Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Newsflash, asshole! I've been hearing it the entire goddamn time!
Oh, there it is. Welcome back to the Waterford podcast. My name is Josh, with Brittany.
Hello.
Hello. I see you have a delightful little hat on tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
It's my thinking cap.
Thinking cap. Fantastic.
It makes it so I don't say dumb things and I don't go, duh.
Well, I wish I had the same thing because I have a feeling a lot of stupid things are going to be said tonight because, boy, are we just off the tail of something I want to call it historic that happened yesterday. Monumental, of course. It's something that comes along every 4 years. It's like, I don't know, in America, it's very like sports. There's such a sports element to politics.
Well, you've only been in this country for a short time, and it's never been this exciting. I can say that. It's
never been this exciting, but last night, I think we can probably say a bit of a train wreck of a debate between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden, who is his competitor. But
yes, we are going to be talking about the debates that were on last night, and
who isn't?
Let's do what Joe and Donald couldn't do last night, and let each other talk without interrupting each other. So here are your 2 minutes. Here are your 2 minutes to talk about how your feelings about the debate last night.
Okay, so we're actually going to do it this. Well, all right. First of all, it was a mess, poorly moderated by Chris Wallace. From what I saw, Donald Trump whereas he didn't say too much wrong, there was a couple of points of contention in there. He was wasn't a little abrasive. He was overly abrasive, actually. I think this is very, very well pointed out. Other media I've seen, it's kind of the way I felt. Joe Biden is kind of a doddering old man. He looked like he was kind of having trouble even staying awake at times. So I don't think Trump needed to attack as much as he did. I didn't see the use in that. Especially Trump's record does speak for itself. Love him or hate him, his record speaks for itself. There was a couple of things that the moderator was bringing up that have been thoroughly debunked in the past, which of course Biden would play into. Biden didn't really have much of a platform to stand on. I just don't think the Democrats have it. I think if the Democrats had put Joe's the most middle of the road dude you can get. He's Mr. Politician. He's Mr. Business as usual. He's been in politics for 47 years. Trump is not a politician. He's a businessman, and if anything, he's a New York businessman. So vain, arrogant,
narcissistic is one word that people use.
Narcissistic, yeah. Well, you have to be a narcissist, I think, to be president. Yeah, Barack Obama was a complete and utter narcissist. George W. Bush was a narcissist. Bill Clinton was a narcissist.
You're a little bit of an oddball if you want to be president. Who wants that job?
Who wants that power? Yeah, but I mean, the thing was...
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was poorly moderated. There was a lot of interrupting. It devolved. Joe Biden shouting. It was like, oh, shut up. It was like,
he said, say shut up.
Yeah, shut up, man. And called Trump a clown twice. And then Trump was like...
The worst president, yeah.
Worst president ever. Trump wasn't even much better at times. He was like, well, he's interrupting,
Yeah.
Well, he's interrupting me. And it's like... Granted,
that's been a common thing though in debates where it's like, well, they just made a statement. I would like to be able to say that. I would like to be able to rebuttal that. They just said something. Can I not?
This is true. But just to finish up on it very quickly.
Going. Sorry.
It was a train wreck. Neither came off stupendously. I think Trump will probably still have the edge going into it because here's the thing. I don't see many of Trump's most ardent supporters, and I think again I'm kind of. Based on what I've seen, I think I'm kind of in, and this is kind of the way I felt about it afterwards, and I'm not alone in thinking this. This is very widespread. I don't think Trump has lost very many people. I don't think he's gained very many people. I don't think that did anything for anybody sitting on a fence last night, unless they're keeping...
And you can argue, that's what a debate is supposed to be for.
Exactly.
So, anyway, I'll share when I get...
I'll give you an example. When it came to the critical race theory thing that Trump is removing from the military at the moment... Chris Wallace ham-handedly called it racial sensitivity training. and Trump explained it terribly. He explained himself awfully. It was poorly. It's almost as though he wasn't really paying attention. Now the moderator should have done better. Chris Wallace, excuse me. Chris Matthews. Who's Chris Matthews?
I don't know.
Is that the Matthew? No, that's what Dave Matthews meant. He screwed it
Coldplay?
up, or it was like maybe I don't know. That's Chris something or other. I don't
Sorry,
care.
I
If your name is
derailed
Chris,
you.
I now officially dislike you and remove yourself. Don't DM me.
Okay.
But yeah, it almost seemed like maybe intentional, maybe it was just him not paying attention or being ill-prepared. Trump was certainly ill-prepared on it. Biden was ill-prepared on a lot of his things as well. It was basically Orange Man bad in a lot of ways. That's not a platform to run on. And his policy decisions don't make me feel comfortable voting for that, just as policy decisions alone. I vote by the policy decisions. I don't vote by the man, really, or the woman, or whatever. Dog, cat, whatever. So
No, that only happens in small towns and they become the mayors of
Yes,
that town.
this is
I don't
true.
know if that's going to happen with presidency. Although I really do, this is kind of a little bit off topic, I really do believe that it's very, very likely we'll have a YouTuber president in our lifetime.
I'm not looking forward to that day. I don't want to smash that like and subscribe button, man. Now, yo, it's turning into idiocracy, man. We seeing. But yeah, no, that's my thought on it. My honest thought on it. Dumpster fire. Everybody's firmly entrenched with their guy. And now, Brittany, I know I've gone over my time. I'll allow you to reclaim yours, and I shall pass the time to you.
Okay, well, these are my thoughts.
All right.
This is my summary of the debate. 3 old white men. Old man 1 wearing a navy blue suit with a striped tie pointed the finger at old man 2. Old man 2 wearing a suit and striped tie pointed the finger at old man 1. And old man 3 wearing a navy blue suit with a striped tie struggled to keep them in line and on topic.
Yeah. I mean,
was
if you want to get down to the lowest common denominator of what was going on, that's perfect. That is a perfect synopsis. That's really what it was.
It was a mess. It was entertaining. God bless America. God bless this mess. Yeah, no, definitely some verbal sparring going on. Got a little personal talking about his son and I think so. But why not? Why not let them, let him at it and do a little bit of fisticuffs? Let's still keep it civil. Like, let's not go full Andrew Jackson or anything up there and have a duel.
I challenge you to a duel.
But
pistols at sunset, you smarmy mango.
But on a more serious note, some may argue that this chaotic and noisy debate, like you said, it was a train wreck.
It was a train wreck.
Was not very informative and a fundamental failure in serving the purpose of what a presidential debate is. Because like you said, the whole reason you would hold a debate historically is so that you can those that are undecided or swing voters can kind of get more informed and decide where they want to go, and at the same time building confidence in those supporters you've already gained. So, but let me continue.
Well, I do want to make a quick point of order.
Okay, go ahead.
Just in there, this was very much a debate for people who, if you're like me, I keep my eye on politics at all times.
Yeah.
I have one eye in the sky when it comes to that.
Is that your asshole pointing up to the sky?
Basically, yes, absolutely. That's kind of how it feels. I think my ass would have a lot more interesting things to say at times, for sure. It can certainly speak at a broader range. But no, I mean, this
Go
was...
on quickly,
this was,
you're taking my time. Can I please have 30 more seconds?
You can reclaim your time.
Can I have 30 more seconds,
You can
please?
reclaim your time. You can reclaim your time.
Respectfully.
For me, what I was saying was
Go on.
To say that because again, we're both right about. I think we're both right about the undecided voter. I think if this is a case of where you know what's going on, you know the facts or the not facts, or you're keeping an eye on it, you can kind of discern what's being said and not said. I'm explaining this kind of poorly, but you can kind of understand. You can understand the points being made, and you're able to say, "Nah, I don't think that's right," and that goes for both sides. I really do think that goes for both sides. Now, you may reclaim your time.
You're
there,
basically
Brittany.
trying to say like the more uninformed person could have gotten very confused and lost in the shuffle of what was going on.
Exactly. That comes back to my point about the racial sensitivity thing. It's like racial sensitivity. I don't know what that is, and then it's like because they don't even know what the critical race theory is.
Can I please have 30 more seconds on the clock, please?
Yes, you can reclaim your time as of now.
Thank you. Okay. So like I was saying, just kind of looking at and analyzing like the purpose of debate, that's where it really fell apart. And it wasn't so much about who won, it was like more about who lost less. It's like a way you can put it. I like the analogy that Dr. Todd Grande provided in a video he posted today. He's just a YouTube channel where he's I think he's a psychologist. It's like a doctor in psychology, and so he just does like behavioral analysis. He does true crime things, other things like that. But so he kind of took his spin, analyzing the debate and just behavior modeled in it. But anyway, that was unnecessary background. But anyway, imagine if you this is the analogy he compared the debate to. Imagine, if you will, two cars on the starting line getting ready to race. So okay, we know the rules of how a race works. The cars start, they go in a circle, and whoever arrives at the end of the lap in less time wins.
Thank you for explaining a race. That's
okay. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, we understand the rules, or at least we're under the impression of what a race is. Mm-hmm. But what if both cars don't cross the starting line, and instead they just blast into reverse and then crash into the bleachers? Cue. Do you have your soundboard ready? Cue soundboard.
I can soundboard. I can soundboard with the worst of them. What?
Cue soundboard. I just said car crashing into. There you go.
There it is.
Okay, but can I please add the comical imagery of a rubber tire bouncing away? There's just something so funny and cartoony about that. I know car accidents are tragic, but
not always. That
imagery makes that soundbite even better.
This certainly wasn't just a rear ender fender bender. This was this was like, oh, the humanity.
Yeah, but instead of the casualty and things on fire, the casualty was civility.
Yeah,
really.
But I mean,
so but the point I was trying to make is like, how can you determine who won when no one performed the vital functions of the debate, of a race?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot now on either side. So we look at conservative media, they're saying Trump won, and when you go to liberal media, they say Biden won. So when it comes to the mainstream,
but most people are saying just who sucked less.
Yeah,
that's really what it comes down to.
I think the most surprising.
I have one more thought though.
I do want to just say to that very quickly, before you get to your thought. I think the most surprising result of the night was that the viewers of Telemundo perceived Donald Trump to be the winner. The Spanish.
But once again,
the Spanish speaking.
They were just two cars back reversing into the bleachers. They didn't finish the race.
But I mean, think about that. Spanish speakers watching a Spanish channel really. I think they like Trump.
Of them. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you very clearly dodged another car crash there.
Yeah, never mind.
And maybe an explosion at the end of it.
Yeah.
But what was your next point? Go ahead.
No, there was one thing that, let me try and put, so okay, it's been on the table about Biden's like cognitive abilities.
Yes.
And his lack thereof, like how it's been in question.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been one of his biggest criticisms. Yet, it was a disadvantage for Trump to interrupt him as many times as he did last night, because that provided an excuse for Biden and Biden supporters to say, well, of course he was losing his train of thought. He was constantly being distracted by Trump. So Trump almost prevented letting Biden expose himself a little bit more. If he had backed off, then Biden would have just been able to, then maybe we would have had an opportunity as the audience to see if Biden's cognitive abilities are unraveling or not.
Yeah, I think that's just expanding on my point from earlier.
But I just
that
think
Trump
I did
was
it
too
better.
abrasive. Well, that's called expansion, isn't it?
Yeah.
For God's sake. Yeah, no,
That was my
it's
only
a good
like
point.
that was actually brought up. We were watching coverage or commentary last night from just a couple comedians. I won't say who, but we also that was kind of touched upon in this very like clinical, sterile, unbiased doctor's opinion.
Yeah.
That he also provided that. It's like, well,
Which I think we're all trying
like
to
that
do here.
sparring match, like, well, Biden, hands down, his biggest criticism has been this, but yet Trump got in the way of letting that be exposed.
Yeah.
So he kind of trampled over he should have just let his opponent fall on his own sword, basically.
Yeah.
And he didn't allow
Trump
that.
could have done that, but Trump is going to Trump. That's the thing. Trump is going to Trump. He's big and bombastic. He's Mr. Fantastic.
I wasn't making it
Mr.
up, though.
Bombastic.
By the way, I wasn't making up they all were wearing Navy suits with striped ties.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Navy is quite in now, I think. So, yeah, no, I mean, that was the...
3 old men.
I think that was really the thought of our... I mean, unless... Do you have any more to add on
that's pretty much it. I'm not
Great.
very... I'm going to tell you, I'm still fatigued from the last election year. So.
Yeah. No, this
Year's
is
just been exhausting.
This is a different beast. This is a completely different beast. I mean, Trump worked like that against Hillary because I think he had to work like that. Because say what you want about Hillary Clinton, she is intelligent. She's conniving. She pays attention, and her mental faculties. She's a politician. She's an archetypal politician. Joe Biden is also an archetypal politician, but he's in advanced age, and again, as we said, his mental acuity.
That's his biggest criticism.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, no, we have more criticisms if you look at certain things.
Well,
but
I'm saying that is the biggest criticism that is concerning to both parties. It's not just a party criticism. It's not just a Republican Party criticism of the Democratic candidate. It's like a universal thing that people, and that even was brought up with Hillary Clinton. This is the oldest ticket, right?
This has got to be up there.
It definitely is, because the last election was the oldest. Was the oldest ticket.
I think it probably was. Yeah. Again,
I don't know how they like Biden. You can see but you're like, damn, he is what? He's 80. How old is he?
He's 79.
Oh my god.
Trump is actually a good few years his junior. Trump is in his early 70s, 73.
When I think of Biden, I just think of that cringe moment of when he was trying to get the
come on, man,
Latinx vote.
Oh,
by
don't
play
those words with me.
Gosh.
Oh, Despacito.
Yes, and he's just it's so cringy.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing over there? Why are you playing Despacito?
I mean, to out cringe Trump.
Actually, it's not bad there. It's not bad there, Joe. Come on, look.
Trump is difficult to do, and yet Biden can do it sometimes.
It'd be great if he actually did start playing at the debate, and Trump's like, "No, I'm kind of getting into this groove.
Because didn't Hillary?
Maybe I won't build such a. You know what? Maybe my wall won't be so beautiful after all. Maybe I won't do it. Maybe not for a long time. I won't build a long wall because Despacito. This is a banger." And he suddenly went with a Mexican accent at the end there. Hey, Holmes.
Well, isn't it?
That's the weirdest thing.
Wasn't there
to
a
me.
time that Hillary Clinton
hot sauce in the handbag? Yeah.
Yeah, hot. That's.
I ain't long, no ways, no tired, or
Just
whatever the hell
chilling
she
here
babbled.
in
Jesus.
Cedar Rapids. Okay. Anyway.
But I mean,
moving on.
No,
Moving
don't move on. Excuse me.
I'm moving the show on.
Well, good for you, but I'm wrapping up here. So yeah,
I'm gonna wrap.
I think that
you
was.
up and put a little bow on you and give you a little kiss for
Thank
being
you.
so beautiful.
Tactical strike. Don't
that
worry.
was the debates last night.
We'll get her. Well, it was actually this. There's a little clipping there, but
I'm telling you,
get the idea.
two car. I love. Don't you like that race car analogy?
Not really. It's
What?
all right.
I
It's
like
okay.
it. It's a funny image.
I think more Final Destination myself, but during the NASCAR
They just
crash.
both go reverse.
Yeah. But so yeah, that was the first debate. The next debate, I believe, is the 15th of October.
This is how stupid I am. But these are drastically delayed, right, because of COVID. The fact this is only a month out.
No, I think this is generally around the same time the debates start. Yeah, I could be wrong.
I feel like this election year has just been. It's obviously been covered. It's obviously been reduced coverage because of COVID.
Well, I think it's a little difficult when you're in Arizona. You don't have any clear seasons. to really judge by because of, I remember last year and it was kind of cold and wet at the time, so it
Okay,
must
I'm
have
gonna
been
stop
fall.
you there. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make
No,
sense.
I'm just saying, like, things have been kept quiet because they can't campaign and they haven't been able to travel. It's just like the logistics of COVID preventing.
Trump is
a
campaigning.
normal-
Biden is
hasn't
out today
been-
on the railway. He's out on the railroad doing it. Next stop, Weatherby.
All right, moving on. I don't
so-
even like politics, so why are we talking about this so much? Let's go.
That's our kind of recap, I suppose, of the first debate. Next one is
I put
October.
some thought into that. Didn't you
Ne-
like that? And I'm not even politically inclined.
Next,
I'm gonna toot my own little horn.
thank you.
All right, I'll let you go.
I've got to buy you a horn. So the next one will be, as I said, for the third time. Jesus, I'm not saying it again. But we'll provide a recap. Hopefully, it'll be a little more. It won't be lacking in decorum next time, and maybe we can actually see what the hell is going on.
Are you talking about
in
our
this country.
coverage of the debate or
Well,
the debate itself?
No, the debate itself. And we'll cover the debate. But for now,
But with
we're going
decorum?
to move on to what I think is story of the week, and this is a segment we like to call "Pressing the Presses." Yes. Here comes the ticker tape music for the ticker tape parade.
Squeezing the squeezers.
That sounds like dairy farming.
Squish
Gone
the
wrong.
cat.
Squish that cat. Yes.
Squish that cat.
So this is a story I found. It came from the wonderful country that is France, in Palais Sceaux.
Wait, I have a wonderful title for this. Can I do my radio voice for it?
All right.
Okay. Tatted up teach traumatizing toddlers.
I didn't catch a word of that. What did you say?
Tatted up teacher traumatizing toddlers.
Why are you speaking so closely into your mic? It's all...
Tatted up teach traumatizing toddlers.
I prefer my title for it. Swamp creature fired from teaching.
Oh, that's such a boomer way of looking at it. Come on, be a little bit more open-minded.
I'm a millennial. This comes from France. A school teacher whose body, face, and tongue are covered in tattoos who has had the whites of his eyes surgically turned black, said he was prevented from teaching at a French kindergarten after a parent complained he scared their child. But the teacher, Sylviane Helene, 35, still teaches children
Looks like a
from
frog.
Well, have you pulled up a picture of him yet?
He's green. He is green, kind of.
Well, you know what they say
And
about
he's
life.
got black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Lifeless eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Like a doll's eyes.
Very good. He still teaches children from the age of 6 up and said that after an initial shock when they see him for the first time, his pupils as in the students?
I
or
know.
his,
No,
yeah.
you're talking. I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
Oh, you're trying to make that a joke.
not
A bit
really.
of wordplay.
Bit of bad wordplay, actually, more than anything. I'm kind of unhappy with that. I
His
don't know why I applaud.
students.
I don't know why I
His
applaud. The
students.
students. Apparently his pupils see past his appearance after a little while. It's only when people see me from far away that they kind of assume the worst. Well, probably, yeah, because, I mean, you probably do look like something that has just kind of showed up in a schoolyard to skin children.
He looks like a snake. Like he looks like a reptile, reptilian.
We will go to the place
But he didn't even get like really fired. They're just saying you can't teach children as young as kindergarten anymore, like because they're just too young to. They people. Is it? I was just.
You're
kinda
you're nightmare fuel.
Yeah, like he was. That's why I said he's teacher traumatizing toddlers.
That was better. Actually, that was a little better.
Because they're just too young to kind of wrap around like, mommy, what am I looking at? Like they don't know what they're seeing.
Mommy, I saw that under my bed last night.
Yeah,
like,
it would be scary.
It would be terrifying. I mean, I remember teachers being scary to me just because they were kind of old and crabby.
I know you're gonna probably get to this point, but I think the one thing that I pulled from this article, the big standout, was that basically all of his tattoos are just a physical manifestation of like, I went through a mental crisis when I was 27. I did all this.
Yeah, he had an existential crisis when he was teaching at a private school in London. And since then, he said tattoos are his passion. Brittany, how do you feel about tattoos personally?
I personally don't have any.
Yes.
I personally don't think I would ever be interested in getting one, but I really kind of admire good tattoos.
Fair.
I'm kind of more into like the covering of tattoos can be extensive enough but not too extensive. Like kind of like the military, there's like the military role, like where all of your body, as long as there's no tattoos on your hands, neck, or your face, as long as like your uniform can cover up tattoos, like I don't care if you have full sleeves, but it's like when you start getting on your neck and your face,
like Swamp Thing here.
Yeah, like
most likely
that.
Has actually. I have a
like
picture of him.
when you're looking at SoundCloud rappers, they look like a kid, like a 90s kid at a sleepover prank with Sharpie all over his face. That's when I start to get a little bit like, dude, that's kind of stupid. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
like,
you look like a school desk, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
here
his
he is, by the way.
His is more like he's trying to kind of uniformly look like some sort of creature. But
well, yeah, he does. There's something reptilian about it.
No, explain his existential crisis. So, is he saying that he got all the tattoos because he was going through a really rough time, or is he saying that the tattoos helped lift him out of a really difficult time?
Because
that doesn't
he's
seem
having an existential crisis.
That just doesn't seem mentally stable. It's kind of like people being addicted. It's an addiction.
It is, yeah.
And so, like, yes, it's an addiction, and it's like body image dysmorphia. Not dysmorphia. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I don't know if this is body dysmorphia. This
not
is
dysmorphia. That's not the right. But you know what I mean. Like, it's obvious. It's kind of like people being addicted to plastic surgery, to alcohol, to.
I mean, full disclosure, I don't have any tattoos either.
Yeah.
I would never consider getting one. The only way I would see fitting that I would get one is to commemorate something like if I napalmed a village in the Nam. That's about the only time I would see, any. If I served, which I didn't, and I don't, and God willing, I won't have to at some point. Well, in America's next big global
I don't want you to serve
conflict.
if you're thinking that you would want to commemorate napalming a village in Vietnam as being something.
Well, you always want to remember those terrified faces with something. I think I'd have to have that.
My dad still is just. My dad just recently we were talking about the Vietnam War. He's like, it was just ridiculous. Like, why we were ever there.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
America, America, that was a case of us trying to be the savior of the world and like putting ourselves in positions we didn't need to be, whatever.
Ironically, the French actually got us into that situation, and
really?
We're talking about the French right now. The French seem to get into a lot of little kerfuffles when it comes to the world stage, and always seem to be the first ones to run out. It's like, good, you're here, we're out. I don't know what it is. I mean,
kind of like this child, one of his
well, I mean, I don't understand what he's doing in this. It looks like from that Tim Burton movie with the creature with the hands in its eyes.
He does look like a swamp creature. You're right. He kind of looks like what was that movie that came out?
He looks like Kermit the Frog if the chemicals didn't turn him gay.
I never saw it, but she had like sex with a fish. What was it called? It was like up for an Oscar or won an Oscar.
Oh,
it was
sex fish story.
Yeah. Lady like her fishy boy.
Well, you smell like me. Let me rub the part that smells like me
Del
on you.
Del Toro film.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you maybe?
Sorry.
You get too close to that mic.
I'm sorry.
Blowing my headphones up.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Well, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we know the film. But let's see. He said last year that he was teaching kindergarten at Dr. Moreau. Wait, no, I didn't say that right.
Are we still talking about this guy? Because, I mean, he's got a lot of tattoos. Like, okay.
Well, I think this is interesting because
his justification for it.
Well, he said last year he was teaching at a kindergarten in a suburb of Paris, which is Palaiseau, when the parents of a 3-year-old child complained to educational authorities. They said their son, who was not taught by Helene, that he had nightmares after seeing him. As you would. I'm about to have nightmares looking at this guy.
That's totally understandable.
He's terrifying. I mean, this is again. I don't have tattoos. I have no problem if you want to get tattoos. I don't see the point in them personally, and I don't see the point to this extent. This is just bizarre to me.
It's a little bit unstable, and like I said,
but you do you.
It arose out of him saying I was mentally unstable.
Well, that's just it. But it doesn't really go into what his existential crisis was. But getting tattoos is now his passion, clearly. I mean, I have a passion for pizza, but I don't eat it every night. Would if I could, but I don't. So basically, he said this is what kind of
that's the longest clap ever.
I know, yeah. Well, you clap longer for pizza. But the thing is,
pizza is like sex. When it's not that good, it's still pretty damn good.
Yes, that's true. He said he hoped to show his pupils that they should accept people who are different from the norm. Maybe when they are adults, they will be less racist and less homophobic and more open-minded, he said. I don't get how this makes you less racist, less homophobic, and more open-minded.
And how can you tell that to a 3-year-old?
And how can you tell that to a
can't.
3-year-old? It was like, they're just like, cookie? It's, excuse me, biscuit. Or whatever the French alternative is. The French equivalent. Biscuit. Oh. Mama. Mama, Swamp Thing tried to bring me into the schoolyard today. Bonjour, monsieur. Oh, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm honestly tired tonight. So
why don't you turn it over to me?
I might actually let you take the reins on this one, but I mean, can you, just before we wrap up on this story,
yeah, what do you need, Josh?
Do you really think this will inspire less racism, less homophobia, and more open-mindedness, or do you think this will just have some poor kid sitting in therapy saying, "I have this recurring nightmare where this creature comes out of my closet," and then of course he ends up on sex charges, which I'm not saying he will.
I will say no to both. I don't think it will cause too many extremes. I don't think it will help make. I don't think he's helping make the world a better place by how he looks, or whatever message he's trying to deliver.
There is no message. I don't think. It's just a guy who really likes tatting up.
I don't think he's going to completely terrify children into.
He's already given one child nightmares.
Yeah, well, kids have nightmares.
He has a score of 1 at that we know of that he has completely terrified.
I mean, but he's gonna walk around the world. Doesn't matter what his profession is. In fact, that's very lenient. There's still jobs I know that you can't show any tattoos.
His next job is babysitter. I mean, think of the perfect jobs for this guy. I mean, he could in a
freak show,
a creche.
That is what his job would be.
Freak show.
How come those have gone out of style? I want to watch that old black and white movie. I think it's from the 40s called Freak Show. Or
Gabba Gabba, we accept you.
It's supposed to be actually pretty disturbing.
What was it? Gabba Gabba, we accept you, one of us. Gabba Gabba, we accept you, one of us. I think that's the movie you're talking about. The Ramones.
Maybe.
That's the Ramones.
Gabba Gabba. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's taken from that movie, I think.
I want to see. No, it's like legendary.
Yeah, but because it's actually played there's a lot of freaky people in it.
But it's real, and they actually were treated well. They weren't actually exploited they chose, but
unlike that other movie Freak Show in Paris where they were whipped and sold into slavery after production.
Are you talking about Phantom of the Opera?
No. Wow.
He was a freak.
Well, he was.
He was in a cage.
He did live in a cage, didn't he?
Yeah.
For the first. What was his name? Gaston? I don't know. Whatever.
What the hell? Anyway,
I am feeling tired. I'm a little bit.
It's the Wednesday wall, everybody.
It's the Wednesday wall. Yes, and it was debate night last night, and so I'm going to turn this over to the bits she has been twiddling with for just another little
debates.
while. Talking about debates.
Let's talk about the mass debates.
Jesus, let's talk about Britt's bits. Britt, please report your bits.
Hello, and welcome to the potpourri part of the program where I get to talk about whatever the hell I want.
Yes.
So, time to roll a fat doobie, everybody.
Medicinal or illegal?
Because I want you to ask yourself the billion light year question.
I don't believe in $1 billion. I don't believe in billionaires. I don't believe in questions amounting to that.
Okay, I'm going to start
You're
over.
not at the debates, Bernie. Shut up.
Okay.
Okay, I want you to roll a fatty because I want you to ask yourself the billion light year question.
All right.
Where are all the aliens, man? We can't be alone. Where are they?
Based on last night's performance, I wouldn't be coming anywhere near here if I was an alien. Jesus. It's ugh.
Beep, beep, zoop, zoop.
Actually, that could be their cue. Okay, they're done. We need to annihilate.
Beep, beep, zoop, zoop. No way, man. Let's try Venus.
I just hear the little loud.
Yeah, you love music.
And away they go, folks. They were going to share with us intergalactic treasures, but no, we screwed up.
Not so sorry, but yes, there has been quite a space theme going on. We keep talking about space, but this will kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties into if we get to talk about it, and that's entertainment later on. But anyway, let me continue because your little tired eyes can take a rest, and your little tired voice can take a rest while you listen to me talk about this mind-blowing shit. All right. The probability... Expand your mind, man. Okay, so the probability of alien or just life on other planets is incredibly high. There are claims that it is mathematically proven that we are not alone in the universe. There's something called the Drake equation, which estimates that there have to be at least 20 civilizations in our cosmic neighborhood, and that's just the Milky Way. Just
Drake,
in our
the rapper?
Yeah, he's a very talented young man.
Just seems like an equation he came up while smoking weed one night. He was like, what if aliens?
No, it's actually...
I don't know what Drake sounds like. I don't even know any of his music.
It's like a highly acclaimed, like, physicist or whatever, mathematician that formulated this. So here are kind of three theories as to why, even with this incredibly likelihood and high probability of alien
20,
existence,
20 colonies.
There are at least 20 civilizations in the Milky Way, in our galaxy.
Wow. Okay.
In our galaxy alone.
All right.
There are 100 billion in our galaxy alone. There are 200 billion stars and 100 billion planets, and it's just a small fraction of any of those have life. It's like, that's what I mean. It's just the probability is like immense. So they're kind of I'm going to talk about some main theories as to why we haven't found any definitive evidence. Because that's the paradox. That's the paradoxical thought. Like, oh my gosh, they're out there, but how come we don't have any evidence that they're out there?
Do you think? I mean, before you get into your theories, do you think they know about us?
Well, here, let me go. Don't.
Oh, I'm rushing ahead.
Don't. You're like the kid in class who like raises his hand like, no, and like it's like we're gonna get there.
You mean
sweetie.
I'm like the wife when we're watching a movie? Ooh.
That's what's going on. I don't know either.
The movie will reveal itself.
Yeah. I have to do that to my. That's kind of like a mom thing too. Anyway.
What's your excuse? Go on anyway. What are the theories?
I should be a mother. Okay. Anyway.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so here are the kind of the main points.
Don't follow that, you bastards.
In this ever-expanding universe, it poses the high likelihood of our life out there, but it also poses a problem with that.
Oh.
Which means we may just be way too far apart to make contact, and no one has the technology to traverse space and time. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're so far apart, so there's no way we could ever make connection because of how big the universe is.
Basically, it's this. Hey, can you hear us?
Did you hear something? Just the wind.
Yeah, like, but you know what I mean? Like, with how big the universe is and the fact that it is expanding, it's a paradoxical thought, because it's like, well, it's so massive, there must be something out there, but yeah, it's so massive, we'll never make contact because we're too far apart.
Not unless Elon Musk has his way.
What?
Not unless Elon Musk has his way.
No, like, I mean, I'm not going to get into too much details, but like, the technology, like, and just like it's not about traveling. It's like you're talking about times, like as I said, it's light years that you have to travel.
Buzz Lightyear.
Like,
yes.
No one, like, it's just kind of impossible. You won't even be in the same timeline. Like, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, without going, I'm trying to keep this kind of nutshell and basic, because I I'm not like a whatever.
The historian or a physicist
or whatever.
A historian.
So
what am I talking about?
No, because you could do like a whole hour podcast on this subject alone.
You probably
That's how
could,
much
yeah.
explored it is. So I'm just trying to kind of just exposing you to it. So the second one is, and keeping it basic, the formation and this is another one that's pretty simple too, is the formation and maintaining of life is no easy task. So like, just for life to come and exist, to make a conducive environment for life to be sustained is very difficult for that to happen, for all those things to correlate and come together, create an atmosphere, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I think we can all agree with that. That kind of makes sense. Also, there's a lot of bottleneck situations, like intelligence bottlenecks, like technology. Like, there might be, like, breakthroughs are called breakthroughs for a reason. It kind of takes you to a new progression. So there might be civilizations out there that have never progressed from, single cell organisms, or there may be life forms out there that are only single-celled organisms, or you could have a situation where civilizations that are in like almost like a primitive state where they haven't even discovered fire yet, or they haven't invented radio yet. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Wasn't there something about that recently?
There's filters. There's like phases you have to pass through. Like, you can't make a car you can't make an engine if you don't understand the combustion.
Yeah. I think there was a thing about that recently. Venus. There's signs of life on Venus, but it's in the clouds. They're like molecules that actually would be life-bearing or something like that. And obviously, honestly, talking about filters,
like prokaryotic.
it's like they tried to
amoeba.
take over. It's like we just put a big filter up over the planet, and they just kind of come through and filter themselves away to their purest forms, which are no good. I don't know where I'm going with. I'm
Wow,
tired.
okay.
I am tired.
Don't
My
even-
God.
I mean, at least I'm coming into this like having kind of
Shit.
brushed up on some shit, but you're just kind of. You just took a fatty little.
Well,
yeah, I've heard about this
just
thing
hearing
about
this
Venus and there's life in the clouds.
Well, there is no. I mean, that is something. Apparently, I mean, I was
Okay.
trying to make a lame joke. I
don't know what you're doing.
I can barely think straight. To be honest
Okay,
with
leave
you.
it up to Science Girl to keep going here.
All right, Science
You're
Girl.
okay, don't break your brain. So here's the other issue, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about where are they; it's about when are they. Because our galaxy is 4.5 billion years old, and that's actually really, and Earth is like, our galaxy was formed. Earth was formed also around 4 billion years ago.
I thought it was 2,000 years ago.
Earth?
Or no, it was 6,000 years ago. I thought.
What are you fucking like, evangelical like? 7-day evangelist, whatever the fuck kind of person.
No, I'm Catholic. Of course, I'm. Yes, that's the.
The world was built in 7 days, and on the 7th day, God rested.
So Rome wasn't built in a day, and the Earth was built in 7. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes. Well, I mean,
6,
that makes
actually.
perfect sense. Go on.
But it was God's days. Anyway, no, but that's true. 4.5, and like taking into account how old we know the universe is, and blah blah blah. I don't have the numbers right now off the top of my head, but we're considered a younger part of the universe.
All right. We're the spoiled brat baby of the universe. Great.
So
Makes a lot of sense.
But do you know what I
actually.
mean by that? Like, it's not just about where they are; it's about when. There
Well,
could have
yeah,
been. There could have been
Different
and I'm
galaxies are
talking-
formed at different periods in
Well,
time.
yeah. So like civilizations, who knows how many civilizations have come and gone, or maybe they got to a point and then they like died off because of this happened or that happened. Or,
What if?
Or they eventually like exhausted all their resources and like doomed their planet and made it unlivable. Blah,
What
blah,
if
blah.
our ancestors back at the troglodyte era were the and well, let's just say this. What if
All right,
we
go
what if
Sweaty
we,
Pits, McGee.
what if we came from another world eons ago?
Yeah.
But it wasn't as we know it. It was I mean, let's say the molecules that form our very bodies, the multicell organism.
Uh-huh.
What if that didn't actually come from anything organic on this Earth, but from another world, like a Krypton kind of thing, like the planet was
Well,
disintegrated.
hydrogen and helium and carbon are all very like were part of the Big Bang, like those things that
You know what I just said could be very much disproven by complete and utter science.
we know about chemical composition in space.
Well,
we
yeah.
really do.
I was just thinking it'd be weird if
and
we were
yes-
sent here like Superman, except the only thing is now we're like Superman compared to our previous form.
Okay, so I was listening to a podcast kind of covering this, and actually what you're tapping into is kind of, well, I didn't want to bring it up because it's kind of too heady and I might not be able to relay it very well, but basically they were talking about a theory that we are just part of, like, you could think of the whole universe as uniformly part of an evolution, and maybe and think about this, and it kind of blows your mind to think about, maybe we're like one-celled organisms compared to what we could become.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a thought about like it
makes
like,
me sad.
Like, maybe we kind of see ourselves as like the top of evolution.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, we don't really.
yeah, we do.
We have opposable thumbs and an ability to think rationally.
No, like, but it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine what an evolved being from a human would look like.
Yeah, but the thing is, if we were
And- and
the peak of evolution, we wouldn't drown when we went in the ocean.
Okay, let's not talk. What I'm trying to say is, like, we're part of a bigger picture, and we may, in some other civilization or life form, we may be their single-celled organism or bacteria.
You were going to say orgasms, weren't you?
In comparison, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we might be a really low life form.
Well, yeah.
In comparison to maybe something, like, but we can't even comprehend that. And another thing they were talking about, like, is if anybody did traverse like space and time and went to like furthest reaches of the universe, you would. Let's simplify it more than like you would no longer be human. You would probably be something else by that time you got there.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And which kind of ties into like, let's simplify it though, like how they talk about like if civilization is founded on Mars, we would evolve out of being humans. We would become Martians.
well, yeah, I mean,
Our bodies would change. We would become taller, leaner, more cylindrical, kind of like the version of like when we think of like gray aliens.
yeah, yeah.
But like they've showed that's how the body would adapt.
Yeah, it's all very interesting, but to me, that's also a little bit depressing because I do enjoy my life
I
on Earth.
haven't even gotten to the most depressing part though, Josh.
Well,
so let me
depress me, why don't you?
So here's the darkest theory out there
Mm-hmm.
about why we haven't heard from aliens or have any evidence of life form.
They just don't want to?
Yes, it's called the dark forest theory,
Uh-huh.
and they are purposely keeping quiet from us.
Yeah, I could believe that.
But here's the thing, Josh. We haven't. We've been screaming our existence for the last century,
Well,
like
radio
broadcasting.
waves.
Yes.
Yeah, like
But here, why would they be keeping quiet? It's a little sinister. Here are some key, just logistical points. All life desires to stay alive. There is no way to know if other life forms can or will destroy you given a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, lacking assurance, the safest option for any species is to annihilate other life forms before they have a chance to do the same.
yeah.
So
yeah.
we could, like, they've kept quiet because they're being like, we don't want you to know about us because it's the hunter and the hunty kind of a thing.
I mean, they don't know what to expect from us, and it could be like,
And they could be plotting
It's
to
like-
annihilate us.
like I mean, from what they hear, it's like they could be like we can hear them, they can't hear us. They must be magnificently ahead of us, just like we think of them as massively ahead of us. So it's a kind of a détente, I guess, an intergalactic détente. They know about us. We don't know about them because we're so ahead of them, but we're not really that far ahead of them. But they think we are, just as we think they are of us. And so we're kind of like, well, even if we would go to space would go to space. Look, Jesus Christ, we spent the whole that's how tired I am. We spent the whole last episode talking about Challenger and space, and here I am going, if we went to space, oh God Almighty. But yeah, like I mean, if we went and found another civilization, there's a good chance, like especially with another Dick Cheney, and I'm sorry, I thought that was a drink machine, and you just annihilate another civilization. Yeah. They don't want us.
What?
They don't want us coming up there and screwing their thing up.
I love how even though you said you're tired, you cannot just like let a topic lie. You're gonna like you turn it on and you bust and you just like you're able to talk about it.
Of course, I'm able to talk about. I'm able to talk about anything. Why are you flipping me off?
I just thought I summarized everything and I just wanted you to just kind of go, oh yeah, makes you think.
No, it does make
But
you
you're
think.
like, oh my gosh, yeah.
But
Dick Cheney.
it makes sense. But it makes sense. And yes, the Dick Cheney joke was gold.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, just some food for thought. And if you are high listening to this right now, I apologize if I made you really paranoid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm talking about this, but I'm not like some huge fanatic, and this stuff doesn't keep me awake at night. But I do think it's kind of fascinating to explore.
I think it's a very, very good point. Yes, and I think that's one we could certainly have a roundtable discussion with when the other two chairs are filled there. When we have a full studio, again, it's just the two of us.
Yeah, the space
this would be
garbage boys.
But the space garbage boys, yes.
If you remember from our inaugural
the space
episode,
garbage boys
they
going
talked-
to space to look after your trash. Yes, those boys. So I think actually we're going to. I did have another segment prepared, but
You do? Where
did.
are we? What's going on?
but he's not calling in tonight.
Okay.
We know who. He's not calling in tonight because Josh's voice needs a break.
Wait, what?
And Josh is very tired.
Josh's throat needs a break?
Yeah, and I don't have to throw it because I mean I feel like I feel a little like
Okay, stop making excuses. Cut.
like I feel a bit like like that, you know what I mean?
Well,
so,
anyway, I'm glad to hear.
But no, that was
If you're going to cut anything out, I'd be happy for you to cut that out.
I'm not cutting anything out.
No, I'm talking about what you're talking about, listeners.
Well, no, we're just going to move on to,
the final segment.
of the show, which is That's
Hang on a second.
Entertainment.
That's Enter Your Anus. I mean, this is infotainment because I thought this would be very appropriate.
Infotainment.
That's infotainment. This
That's
segment,
education.
the segment's called That's Entertainment.
Okay.
There it is. I'm sure everybody recognizes that music.
Not necessarily, Josh.
It took you a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, it sounds so familiar, but I know it's...
So, Britt and I kind of went on a little bit of a, I would say, probably the most movies we've probably watched in a weekend. You more than me. I watched 2 and you watched 3 in total.
Okay, can I take over? All right.
Well, you can talk about your movie first.
All right. The third... No, I'm going to...
You recommend it?
Okay. I want to take a break from the whole spacing. So, anyway, the third installment of our 70s thriller suspense marathon that we've been doing was a bit of a letdown.
For me, at least.
Yeah. For me as well.
Okay.
So far, it goes like this. If I were to rate them. What are we, a tier channel now? What the... Anyway.
Yeah.
So, China Syndrome, Boys of Brazil, then Marathon Man.
Marathon Man, yeah.
Wait, hold on. My mind just like jumbled these words when I looked down and read them. Like, it almost like listen to these titles. What if there was a Brazil Man Syndrome, or I also saw China Boys Marathon.
China Boys Marathon.
No, those would make for some interesting movie titles. But that is like literally what my brain saw.
I want to see China Boys Marathon. That sounds like a heartwarming romp through Chinese culture.
Rumps.
It sounds like a beautiful. Yes. Welcome to our land.
It sounds it sounds pornographic.
It's not the land of the free, but
China
our family
Boys-
values are very good here.
China Boys.
Come
Chinese
see
Boys Marathon.
A magnificent wall. And you say, walls don't keep out Mongol? We say different. Yes. Now watch our beloved family sitcom, China Boys. Or as we call it, Kiwi Jabor Kajor.
Wow. Okay, Mickey Rooney. Let's stop.
That was very Mickey Rooney, actually.
All right. No, it'd be worse than that.
Boy.
But
I gotta turn that off. But yes. So what was the order again?
he sounded more like the Japanese guy, Japanese voice number 2 in The Simpsons. Oh yeah, like
I saw. Yeah. No. There is something about when I try to do a Chinese accent.
Sparkle.
I end up sounding more like a Japanese voice. But what?
Anyway.
So you China Syndrome, Boys from the Brazil, and Marathon
Man was the last one that we
Third.
watched, and that was definitely on. Like, I'll kind of build. I think I'll kind of keep the ratings going while we watch them because I definitely have a lot more saved in our phone.
But for a moment, your least favorite.
Marathon Man was my least favorite.
Yeah, and it was certainly my least favorite too.
Yeah.
I understood it.
I would say it's not really even. It's kind of not even to the point of like it's worth a watch. I'd say it's not. I would say it's not worth the watch.
It's.
Do you think it was worth the watch?
No, not really. No,
I wouldn't recommend it.
I feel worse for watching it actually.
No, I don't feel bad.
No, I feel like Dustin Hoffman's career should have died after that.
Really?
No, of course
the
not.
Performances were fine.
No, they weren't even fine. I did. The ononly person I liked in that entire movie.
I just wasn't engaged.
The only person I found relatable and likable was Roy Scheider as Doc or whatever his name was. Doc and Babe.
His brother?
Brothers. Yeah, Roy Scheider. He was the only one who was in any way relatable.
Well,
Laurence Olivier was. I mean, I preferred him in. I preferred him immeasurably in The Boys from Brazil.
Well, okay, it got to a point where you're like, oh, why would you even do that? Like you kind of like you stopped like believing in your main character. Like you just wasn't trusting his judgment. So I'm just like, I didn't care about his fate because I kind of thought he was being stupid. So I just wasn't invested, and he wasn't. I didn't care.
He was a boring character.
Yeah, and it wasn't that
poorly written. It
wasn't that.
It's from a book.
Yeah, it wasn't that intriguing. But also,
Yeah, it was.
I know
It was a conspiracy thriller intrigue movie without any real intrigue and no real idea what the conspiracy was. And when the conspiracy finally shows itself, it was lackluster.
and it was like
It wasn't a good conspiracy.
and it kind of unfolded like too late in the film.
Yeah,
and then, but also like
it's such a build for something that is
Lawrence-
so not worth it. Remember,
Yeah.
we were sitting there watching it, and I
was
said,
anticlimactic.
and I said, like, this movie could turn me around the last 30 minutes, but so far I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah.
And by the time
And
the
they
end
did
credits
it.
rolled, I was like, it just let me down in every metric. It just let me down all the way through. There was nothing I grasped onto.
I could see. Okay, I'm gonna be honest
Is it
with you.
safe?
No,
Shut up.
I didn't get that. Anyway,
It's like, you hurt him once. Is it safe? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. I just caused you a lot of pain. Of course he knows what it is, Tyler. No, at this
I mean
point.
that's a very famous scene.
Yeah. And it's a good scene, but
no,
I mean,
okay.
the thing is, it's
There
stupid.
were some things that took me out of it, like Dustin Hoffman's character, like decision of like trusting that woman, like
yeah.
trusting her, not like taking a second thought and trusting his brother when he exposed her.
Uh-huh. That's
then,
true.
Then like falling, then still coming back to like just being so clueless when it came to that, like he didn't have a brain in his head about that. Then also, so then I instantly just didn't care about him. I was like, forget you, you're hopeless.
You're
You're a dummy. So here's the other thing though. There's another thing that took me out of the movie.
I'm just a fool.
There's another thing that took me out of the movie that I found it distracting. Laurence Olivier's character's his theme song was just so grating. Like I know what they were going for.
Oh, that but
that pinging. No, it was a pinging.
Yeah.
Like off, like out of tune piano,
Clang.
and it like actually hurt my, and it took me out because
no,
it
it
actually
made me
like it
Ugh.
was like nails on a chalkboard.
It's like, I know this is supposed to be uncomfortable, but no. This is just uncomfortable.
But it got to the point, where it's.
I
Like,
don't like this.
although to be fair, maybe people could argue that it's kind of similar to like a drill, like a dental drill or something.
I guess it's supposed to be kind of like Chinese water torture or just water torture in general, where it's like a...
No, I think talking about the fact that it was like a dental drill is probably more accurate.
Maybe that too. I don't know.
But anyway, I just don't care to know more about it or analyze the film more.
No.
It kind of left me like I don't care about knowing any more about.
I didn't care
what
for
I
it.
just saw.
I would give it a solid D. I'd give it a D plus if I were to give it any kind of rating. A D plus.
I'd give it like a C minus.
The plus for me was for effort. I mean, there was effort put in, but I mean, it was just...
It was definitely watchable. You sat down, but I wouldn't recommend it. Like I wouldn't say, you gotta at least see it.
Oh, I'll never watch it again.
Oh no,
I'll never watch it
The other
again.
two, I'd definitely watch again. Chinese syndrome. China syndrome.
The China syndrome.
The China.
The China syndrome.
I would definitely watch again. I don't know if we've talked about that.
China syndrome.
We kind of brought it up in the last episode or the Challenger episode.
Yeah. Which is full of great performances, great
Jack
story,
Lemmon.
great intrigue, and very watchable film.
Yeah, and it's just like it's simple.
And one of the cast had diabetes. Don't ever forget that.
And yeah, I know we're not explaining the film. We're not taking the time to explain the films, but
I'm not. No, I mean, let's get into the other
we're
two.
not that kind of a channel.
But what's the other film we watched?
Okay, well, you didn't watch it. Oh, okay. Can I talk about the movie I watched by myself? Okay, here's my recommendation. So I watched In the Vast of Night. I definitely recommend it for you to sprinkle this into any Halloween movie marathon you might be wanting to do this season. Add some variety. It's charming and well crafted, creepy little low budget sci-fi film, and it just came out last year. I think it's an Amazon original. So it is on Amazon Prime if you have it. I learned about it from Red Letter Media. They both enjoyed it, so that's kind of where I got it. And it's great. It's an alien movie without aliens in it. And it's the way it's done is it's like very.
Were they watching it half in the bag?
Yeah.
Fuck movies.
But it takes place in the 50s. It was shot really, really fun. It was like the cinematography, and it was a lot of fun. I loved all the performances. I loved the atmosphere they had, and it was kind of like it was a great type of alien movie because they don't even like say the word aliens in it. It's all very story and dialogue motivated. It's more of a tell, not show. and it's like a pure homage, like unmistakable homage to like Twilight Zone.
Okay. I was thinking when I mean I didn't watch it.
But not,
from what I saw of it, I was thinking Close Encounters.
No, it was definitely an homage to Twilight Zone. It wasn't like it didn't have the atmosphere of like a Twilight Zone because it was actually done done in a less campy way. It was done in a more realistic way.
Okay.
But I mean, it starts out with you looking at a little tube television. It's like it's almost like it takes you into like you're watching an episode of something called the Paradox Theater. Paradox. We talked about a paradox tonight, but like that. So it's unmistakable that they're trying to produce. You know, the Twilight Zone, very low budget. It was all about story. So and the way it was done is like the way we talk, like the way like more in real life how you hear about alien encounters. Like,
yeah,
I mean, there's a classic moment of sitting in a living room with an old recluse woman who's telling about how her son vanished. Like it's that kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
Where it's the folklore kind of element to it and the spoken word and leaving more to your imagination. It is good.
Okay.
And it's good, and it kept my attention the whole time, and it was, like I said, it was charming too. It was something like you can enjoy with your like whole family. Like you wouldn't have. It's one of those Halloween movies that'd be great if you want to put on a Halloween kind of themed movie, a creepy themed movie with people that don't like horror.
Okay.
Sorry, you didn't seem to enjoy my
Well, I didn't sit and watch the movie. To be honest with you.
So.
I'm not going to watch the movie. You're explaining this to our dear listeners. The movie that I would recommend after watching this weekend is...
so you're not going to be positive about the movie I was positive about?
I didn't see it. I'm not positive nor negative about it one way or the other.
Well, you're like, oh, it sounds cool.
It didn't look cool to me, personally. Just didn't look... It didn't look like my thing. I can see how it would be your type of thing, but it just didn't look like my type of thing at all, personally. Now, what was my thing, and I didn't expect...
You can kind of act like you're excited.
No, I'm not here to act. I'm here to be me.
I'm sorry. I'm just being silly with you. I'm just busting your chops.
I know, but the movie that I watched and we watched actually, that I didn't think
it was a double feature. We watched it after watching Marathon Man.
It's true, and I think we really did need the palate cleanser. But we watched
palate cleanser. That's an interesting choice of words there.
We needed something to scrape the stink of that awful movie. It was Brittany. I'm just saying this right now.
I think it's funny to say
Marathon Man.
No, you're not getting what I was saying. You're not getting what I'm saying. To say that the next one we watch was a palate cleanser is funny because it's known for being so tasteless.
That's whatever.
Wait, that would be a palate cleanser then.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, it's flip-flopping all over the place.
So the movie we watched afterwards was because after wasting 2 hours of your life watching Marathon Man, you want to maybe laugh. And I had no expectations actually going into this one. We watched Private Parts, the Howard Stern biopic, where Howard plays himself through basically 95% of the movie. And I was...
Through 100% of the movie.
95%, because he didn't play himself as a child. He played himself in college.
Oh, that's true.
He started playing himself in college. But what I didn't expect from this... I see your hand, Senator. Put it down.
You don't need to... Don't break the fourth wall.
I'm not... This is... Whatever.
It just means don't go too far because I have something to say.
Okay. But the thing for me was I was not expecting this movie to be actually as good as it was. I don't particularly love Howard Stern. Mm-hmm. I didn't grow up with him. I found Opie and Anthony first. Mm-hmm. And that kind of style of comedy, I guess, spoke to me more. Howard seems to be like, he's your granddaddy's shock jock kind of guy. Mm-hmm. So Howard never really spoke to me. And plus, I didn't grow up listening to him. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but what I actually found was actually about the movie is, number one, hilariously funny. Very, very, very funny. Radio movie. I really enjoyed it because you get to kind of see the inner aspects of working like as a radio broadcaster.
In the Vast of Night is a radio movie. I never mentioned that.
That's true. Yeah, no, you didn't mention that, but it was a cool little parallel there, I guess. But
yeah.
But I mean, there was actually a touching love story in it. I mean, Howard's first wife, Alison.
His first wife? It's not his
No,
wife?
they divorced in 2000.
They divorced?
They divorced in like the late 90s, early 2000s, I
That's
think.
no surprise.
No, it was amicable.
Isn't he married to a vegan woman with a lot of cats, and he's also a vegan?
I don't know.
And all he talks about is that he's old, has cats, and he's
all
vegan.
I know about Howard Stern is up until where this movie finished at around 1985, which is when the movie kind
his
of ends.
heyday.
Well, the beginning of his heyday.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't the peak of his powers. The peak of his powers was kind of coming.
Yeah, you're right. It was like he broke through.
Yeah, but I mean, it was interesting because as somebody who really like I have a real reverence for radio. I have a real respect for it and a real love for it. I listen to a podcast or I listen to a radio station before I'll watch something on TV. And if I'm watching something on TV at the moment, I'm back watching Frasier, a lot of it which takes place in a radio station, and I'm actually finding myself looking at the equipment. I'm kind of a bit of a nerd like that. But I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by Private Parts. Brittany, what did you think?
You're pleasantly surprised by my private parts?
Oh, Jesus.
We've been married for 4 years.
Feels like 40.
Yeah.
What did you think of Private Parts?
It was all right. It had surprising like amount of heart to it.
Yeah.
That I wasn't expecting. And I mean, I just wanted to say when I think of that movie though, it brings me back to the time of being at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video. Yeah. Because I would see that on the shelves all the time. And I don't know why it stood out to me. Maybe it was because it was like a half-naked man on the cover.
It stood out to me too.
With long hair, and it was kind of wild, and I knew the name.
My parents actually rented that movie years ago, back when it first came out. And I remember looking at it. Again, like you said, it caught my eye too. But I looked at the back of the box, and I vividly remember the Fred, Howard, and the lady sitting in the bath. That was on the back of the box.
Oh, I never looked at the back of the box.
But when I saw that scene, I was like, I remember that from my childhood.
And I think the other thing is because it's a very childish title, and so as a young person, I just saw Private Parts, and I was like, oh,
it's a porno.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Like even it's such a childish title that it draws a child's attention, which is kind of weird when you think about it.
As in, Daddy, don't touch my no.
Yeah. But I have to kind of agree with you. In some respects, like Howard Stern kind of has like a Lenny Bruce effect on me, where like you respect him because he's a pioneer, but like I don't specifically. Why do you always do that? You just shoehorn in that fucking Robin Who. I don't want it anymore.
That's Howard Stern.
I keep on thinking that you're doing a Robin Williams when you do that. That's what I've thought this
Howard
whole
Stern.
time.
Who, Robin? They're ripping me off, Robin.
That's
a
Howard Stern?
Yeah. Robin, they're ripping me off. I invented pioneerism. People said there were pioneers before me, but no, I
You sound like Robin
pioneered.
Williams when you're doing that.
No. No, that doesn't sound anything like
Whatever,
Robin
I
Williams.
can't do... Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It sounds like you're Robin Williams.
No, it doesn't. Ooh, Robin Williams. Ooh, he's more like this. Ooh, look, a noose. It's time to asphyxiate myself while hanging from the rafters.
He didn't
like a bat. I played a bat in Fern Gully.
Oh, I thought you were implying it was autoerotic asphyxiation.
No, that was David Carradine. Yes.
Anyway,
you were saying.
You know, I mean, I respect
as a pioneer.
him as a pioneer, and that we got out of like dull and annoying radio broadcasting types, and it kind of formed. You know, like he was a pioneer, but do I think he's funny? Not really.
No, there was some funny things. I mean, and it kind of makes sense. I'm a
woman, like it's just not gonna.
Yeah.
I know it's not, but that's why I actually found. I mean, I did find Quivers really. I really enjoyed her.
Robin Quivers,
yeah. Yeah, because I think I like. Sometimes I enjoy the anchor because.
The news anchor, literally.
No. He kept on referring to it. That's my anchor. It's it's what grounds.
Ironically, she was also his news anchor.
Yeah.
To begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, it was
because she's cool, and she was like she had a good. She was like good, but she was still kind of the straight man, but she could kind of go in with some quips, and she was cool, and she wasn't like whack. I don't know. I liked her.
Yeah. They gave
cool little attitude.
startlingly.
That was really her though, right? It was-
I'm trying to get to stuttering John at the
Okay,
minute. They were great.
This is gonna sound really stupid, but like that was them playing themselves. Obviously.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I like Robin.
Robin.
Quivers.
Hoo, Robin. Oh, they're ripping me off, Robin. Hoo.
I don't know why you keep doing that because I don't like it.
And I think that'll wrap it up.
Because you say it all
ladies
the
and
time
gentlemen,
compulsively, and I
yeah,
never
they're
know
ripping
why.
me off, Robin. They're ripping me off, Robin. Hoo.
Oh my god, that's the 4th time you've said it. Stop! I don't know why I hate it. I just really hate it.
Brittany, you have much to learn, my dear.
I'm no Robin Quivers, because if I was Robin Quivers, I would just be sitting there.
That's it, folks. We're going to get out of here. I'm kind of going to apologize a little bit. I was kind of phoning this episode in. I am so tired.
Don't show them your weakness. They'll go right for the throat.
I am currently.
I am.
I recently. I did want to mention this earlier, but I did recently purchase the new Rob Halford of Judas Priest book, Confess.
Can we have another bedtime story session tonight?
Ooh! I read the first chapter to Brittany last night in a kind of a Brummie accent. I just want to be the metal gods. Yes, I'm the metal gods, and I'm from Birmingham. Yeah.
It's really well written. I'm really enjoying it.
So yeah, well,
the introduction was like kick ass. Like that was really
yeah.
It was really intriguing.
So hopefully I will get that finished very, very soon, and I will be able to give a little more of a detailed review of it, I guess.
Okay.
So far, so good. Rob Halford, of course, the metal god, Judas Priest's lead singer.
Residing in Scottsdale, Arizona.
A man whose life, I think, in a lot of ways, especially when you get into a band like Judas Priest later in life, a man's life who's really shrouded in mystery, and also somebody who you would really... He's just interesting. He just seems interesting. So I'm going to give that a read and tell you, the fine people, a little more about it once I do get through it. But for now, it's good night from her, and it's good night from me, and thank you for listening.
That's the female thing over
It's
to
good night from Brittany. It's good night from Josh. Like, share, and subscribe if you like what you hear. Check out the other episodes. I do recommend a Spacey affair, a Spacey, not him affair. Which is our last step. I really am tired. I'm getting the hell out of here.
I don't know why you're not letting me close the episode, because you obviously need.
Say good night, Brittany.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for sticking in it with us.
Thank you for the pegging. All right. Good night, folks.